So, welcome to Grinds 360. My name is Kieran Mills, and I want to introduce you to physics, which I will be teaching for the year. The physics paper is a 3-hour paper, 400 marks in total, and I'm going to totally prepare you for that paper. I'm actually going to be doing 2 grinds in physics every week for 30 weeks. That's 60 weeks of tuition. In the past, when I did taught physics in other schools, I had very little time to finish the course. Now I have the luxury of 60 classes with you, and that means I'll be able to do every topic in fantastic detail. I won't have to rush topics. So I've got an entire class to do the Doppler effect, for example, to do problems, to explain it, and then to do leaving cert questions on it. So I love that luxury of teaching you something nice and slowly so we can build up your knowledge very, very clearly. We build it up step by step by step. Some of you are wondering, am I the kind of person who can do physics? What kind of mathematical knowledge do I need to do physics? Look, all you need to be is competent in mathematics. You don't have to do higher level maths. You could actually do ordinary level maths because they can't ask you any higher level maths on the paper. There's no logs, for example, on the physics paper. So if you're a good mathematician and you're good at doing ordinary level maths, then of course you can do physics. So once you are competent at maths, all you've got to be able to do really is, can I use my calculator and manipulate formulae? That's all we're basically talking about. These are the topics that we do in physics. We do light and sound, mechanics, electricity, heat, and modern physics. Your physics book might be made up of lots of chapters, but essentially every chapter is included in there. I'm going to be giving you 4 books. Book 1 is all about light and sound. But when you're doing the grinds, you can also download the notes from the website. You might say that's a lot of books for the entire physics course, but actually the amount of what you have to learn in there is quite small. You're probably talking about 60, 70 pages. The rest of the book is all about summaries, leaving cert questions, solutions. So basically, I'm organizing your entire work for you. That's the least I can do. I'm not going to get you your H1. You're going to get your H1. But what I'm going to do is organize the work so you don't have to worry about, oh, is that on the course? Where do I get my leaving cert questions? Am I doing the right leaving cert questions? I'll do all that organization for you. But the thing that you've got to do the work with me because my notes are interactive. So when I'm teaching this on the board, I want you doing the questions with me. And then when I finish the class, I'm going to say, do this work before the next class. And if you keep on progressing like that, doing the work, and anytime you get stuck, of course, all the solutions are in the book, then you will make progress. So it's going to be done thoroughly. You've also got experiments called mandatory experiments that you might be doing in your school with your teacher. Here's my list of experiments altogether from light. I label them like L1 to L5. There's a total of 25 experiments. When I teach you the experiment, I'll always do it in parallel with a leaving cert question. So that will give you a great sense of it. When I talk about the paper, I kind of call it like this. I say it's made up of the mundane and the intelligent. And it's about half and half. So even though you might be a very intelligent student, and you might say, oh, I couldn't be bothered doing my definitions, I couldn't be bothered doing my experiments, well, you're not going to get your H1. So it's a combination of both. So it's mundane and intelligent. What do I mean by the mundane? Well, what I mean by the things you have to learn, definitions, formulae, which are in your table book, which you have to know where they are. Demo experiments, which is very important. We'll talk about all of this later as I do the grinds. Proofs, and STS, science, technology, and society. That's real life physics. We'll talk about that as well. You have to do the mundane. It probably represents 50% of the paper for you to actually learn stuff and be able to reproduce it on the day of the exam. But I'll bring you through all of that later on. I also have a fantastic summary in each book. So the summary will bring together all the mundane for you so you know exactly what you need to know for this part of the course. And then the part that I actually enjoy is the intelligent. So the intelligent is using your calculator, using your brain, doing mathematical problems. And it's made up of 3 sections. So if you want to succeed on the intelligent, the worked examples that I do in my notes, and I want you to do them with me. Numerical problems for you to do when the class is over. And it's important that you do them. And then leaving cert questions. So some students want to do every single leaving cert question there is. I kind of say that's a waste of good time because there's so much repetition. So the leaving cert questions that I choose them very, very carefully. I pick out interesting questions, questions with a little bit of variety in them. So I've picked out loads of leaving cert questions that I'll be doing as part of each grind class. So if I just look at my notes for a minute, in terms of getting ready for the intelligent, well, here's a section of my notes. So you've got these filling grids. So I want you to fill in the grids as the question is done on the board. I want you to be a hands-on, interactive student. I don't want you sitting there passively watching me teach. Because as I said to you, you are the one who's going to get the H1. All I'm doing is teaching you well and organizing you very well. And then when you're finished that, then we have a load of numerical problems at the end of each lesson. And there's a great variety of them. And you work your way through them. The answers are provided here, but all the solutions as well are at the end of the notes. And then there's leaving cert questions for you to do. And again, I've chosen them carefully. So I've just chosen a number of nice questions, great variety of them, and all the solutions for those leaving cert questions are there as well. So I'm bringing you on a journey, and it's a slow journey. It's done over 60 classes. I'm going to build up your confidence and your knowledge very carefully and very slowly. So by the time you're finished, you're kind of saying, well, that was easy, wasn't it? Physics wasn't that difficult. So anyway, listen, thanks for listening. And I look forward to seeing you at our first class.